Well, welcome to another short video ahead of the Ice Hockey Coaching Symposium in a couple of months' time. Delighted to say that today we are joined by Darryl Easson as well as Matt Bradbury. Darryl is going to be one of the speakers at the symposium on the 13th and 14th of July. Darryl, welcome. And how are you, first of all?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's fine. It's a beautiful day here in Budapest right now, and it's nice and warm. So I'm happy with that. And we're just finishing our seat. Well, we're entering the end of our season here right now.
We've got a very rare sunny day here in Nottingham as
Yes.
well. Darryl, you've known Matt for an awful long time and been around ice hockey for an awful long time as well. Just tell us a bit about your history within the sport.
Well, yes, I have. I guess Matt would say he's known me too long, but that's a matter of an opinion. I came to Britain in 1979. Actually, my both my parents are British, and I grew up a little time in Leicester for when I was very young. So I decided not to go to university, just come over for 6 months, and I never ever left the place. Well, I did until 2003. I came over. I played in Sheffield to start with, then moved to Nottingham because Nottingham was just starting up, and then just grew right through the Nottingham program in their senior team. I coached in their program, and that's where, of course, I met Matt and went from there, and then moved on to Sheffield, and then was lucky enough to coach national teams in Britain, which is the English U16 team, and then the Great Britain U18 team for 7 seasons.
Yes.
From there, I found the way out, and I moved to I moved to Zurich, and worked for the IIHF as their sports development manager.
Yeah, plenty of qualifications
Yeah.
in there, of course. Matt, how good is it to have somebody like Darryl coming to the symposium?
Oh, you only have to listen to Darryl speak for his energy, enthusiasm, and his love for the game, and just again, sort of like the ethos I've been talking about, that kind of growth mindset, that developing his own, his own CV. He's got a huge CV, and it's exciting to link back up with Darryl, especially for the weekend. And I hope, I mean, I've not spoken to Darryl for many years. We've now both, over the years, he's found Facebook Messenger, and we've been communicating that way,
Yeah.
and he loves it, and it's going to be
Old
great.
man's Instagram, I think that is. But
So everything's dated, we get dated, but hopefully our love and our enthusiasm and enjoyment of hockey and seeing people develop themselves further, players, coaches, managers, will come through in July. And I just hope I'm looking forward to linking up with Darryl more in the Zoom calls and keeping in touch to see how we can develop further.
I mean, both of you highlight so much the importance of junior development in the sport, particularly, all through the Nottingham system. We say the senior team isn't, the be all and end all. It's, you look at the juniors, you look at the under 18s in nationals, and it's more that the players that have gone on to do better things. You're thinking of the Lakoviches and the Betteridges and that sort of thing that have gone on to play for GB, and they're playing the best teams in the world in the World Championship now, where there was a time where GB was down in Division Two and a long way away from this. And Darryl, your talk is all going to be about developing players and performance. It is so important to develop players in the right way, isn't it?
of course, it's just like anything. It's if you're going to build anything, you have to have the proper foundation. If you don't have a proper foundation, then the height of the limit is limited of the direction that you can go with these things. So it's about doing the right things, teaching the right things, having. We spend a lot of time here now in Hungary talking about hockey habits, the proper habits, not just playing, but being everything, being a good person, doing all these right things, so that the next stage is easier to put on top of that to help the development going on. So yes, of course, it's also from coaching point of view, something we went through a lot here. We started to ask kids at the age of 12, 13 years old, so where do you see yourself? And you know what? A lot of kids don't see themselves in the NHL. And my question is why? Because we as coaches and we as federations don't build that as a possibility. Because let's be honest. If we could get a kid into the NHL, us or you guys, that would be the best thing that ever happened. We could call it the Ansi Kopitar effect. That's exactly what happened in Slovenia, and that's what happened. But it's a lot of times we limit the kids' thinking because of the way we do things too when it comes to development.
Yeah, and without getting kind of too into the ins and outs of it, Matt, you look at the Elite League here in this country where you've got 15 imports. So you only get 5 Brits in a team for a game, and one of them is the backup netminder often and doesn't get on at all. And it does kind of stunt the development all the way through in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Panthers this year and their lineup. I mean, it was great to see Joe Hazeldine come back into the team, and then I saw a stat just only yesterday about Joe Hazeldine, who came through the Nottingham program all the way from being a small kid up to a big guy now and a big part of that team. I think in that short space of time, back end of the season, he picked up something like 23 assists or something. He was the highest assist in the British League, and obviously there was an accolade as well for Logan Nielsen as well. And I think with the right ethos, any Elite League team should be able to still bring in an element of development into that program. Yes, they get it at training. Yes, they get it, behind the scenes with strength and conditioning and everything off the ice. But you can't beat the ice time, and the ice time is key. Even down in the National League, it's really important that players aren't just sat on the bench and think they're just part of an organization. They've got to be feeling the PP. They've got to be able to be on the shorthander. They've got to be trusted. They've got to be backed by their coaches. And I think that was the beauty this year from our angle in Nottingham, is to be able to make that step up from the national from the NIHL 1 with the Lions in Nottingham through to working with Peterborough. We had nine or 10 players that were training, and they weren't what we'd call two-way players. What we called it as part of a development program, a partnership with the Peterborough Phantoms, because we've got to try and get that stepping stone. And working with Slava Kulikov and Tom Norton, who again with the Nottingham link, it was great to be able to have that. And I think that's the key, is that like Darryl says, you've got to have a solid base, and then those stepping stones to reach the pinnacle. And for us, that's through the Lions, working with Peterborough, getting that player exposure, and then hopefully more so with the Panthers.
Yeah, I'll just run those stats. So Logan Nielsen, most goals and most points by a British under-23 player in the IHA. Joe Hazeldine, most assists by a British under-23 player in the IHL. So you give these youngsters the time, and they've locked out most goals, most assists, most points in Nottingham between the two of them. And that shows, Darryl, doesn't it? You develop them in the right way, you give them the time, and they can perform. And I guess that's, with those pathways in the development, much about what your talk is going to be about.
Exactly. One of the challenges is that we have people coming in, or you have people coming in who are saying, oh, the kids aren't good enough. Oh, they're not good enough. Okay, let's look back at Britain's history. Went to the World Championships in 93, 94 with primarily more than 50% British players. Now, they were a golden generation, but they were still really good players. And you've been back since with that group. And you've always produced good hockey players. And you look at my situation now in Hungary, we have a national team where we have no dual nationals in our senior team, because honestly, nobody wants a Hungarian passport. Sadly, I do, but that's another story. Now I'm too old to play, so I won't make a difference. But so what's happened? Are we better than Hungary? Are we better than Great Britain? Well, we are in a way, because we have more ice time and all that. But I would say we're on pretty much an even keel, even level. So why can't your players spend as much time and get the opportunities to push Great Britain up, and so they can use British players? The players are good enough. The other thing on this is a great thing what Matt's doing, which you just mentioned, is the part of the problem is the players aren't blind. They think, where the hell am I going? There's 15 imports out there, and my two buddies are sitting on the bench. Here, kids just quit. Unless you can give them a pathway to get there. That's what it looks like you guys are doing in Nottingham right now, and that's great. You've got to give the kids hope, because eventually they can maybe really improve and drop straight where they wanted to be in the first place.
I can remember a time, Matt, a good few years ago, probably before COVID now, and we were talking after a game one time, and somebody came up to us and said that you're wanting the kids to get the ice time. You're telling them to have to go to Germany or the like, into Europe, because they're just not getting the ice time in the UK.
No, I mean it depends how you. It's most important that how your club is structured, and obviously I can only speak really for what we do here in Nottingham, but the key is that you're challenging your players all the time, and you want a 16, you want them playing your 18s, you want an 18s or even a back end of the 16s also playing with the senior team and having that involvement around, so that when they get to the age of 16 they're ready and prepped to play senior hockey. And I think so. The key for me is to be able to get that structure in place. We're fortunate here in Nottingham. It doesn't just happen. You work at it, and there's other clubs around that obviously will have their own sort of like pathway, their own progression route. But it's key. It's a big focus that all clubs have to look at, because it gives you that sort of like continuity and consistency season on season, rather than having to try and build a team, build a squad year on year from scratch. If you've got a solid base of 12, 13 players, then things are looking good for your team and your club.
Yeah, Darryl, your talk then on Saturday, the 13th of July, the morning session on the 13th, kind of opening the whole thing, really. So no pressure on you at all, but what a great way to start.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. No, I know it'll be fun. I'm kind of used to doing these things like this anyway, so that's fine. And I hope with the first talk or the first speech that you do, you hope that can set up the basis and line everything up ready for the rest of the weekend for people to look at. So, and it's an important thing. I mean, the only thing is that, and I'll mention on here, we seem to nowadays change names of things and give them really fancy names, and it is basically it's what we've been trying to do all along, developing a pathway and all that. And you need buy-in from everybody that's involved in that.
Yeah, and Matt, just finally, some people have obviously already registered for this symposium. If they haven't already and they're interested, where do they go to register for this?
Yeah, I mean, my website is www.mattbradburysports.com. I'm out there on the social media, so just search up Matt Bradbury Sports. If you can't find me, then I'm here on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X as it's called now. And Darryl, I've even got a TikTok. I've even got a TikTok account. Have you got a TikTok account?
No, I was just going to mention that a couple of minutes ago.
It's been so great to chat to you this morning, Darryl, and see we look forward to seeing you over here in July, and hope the weather in Budapest stays as nice as it is at the moment for you.
Thank you very much. I hope so too. But I'm really, really looking forward to this. It's a chance to come back into England and do some things too. I've done quite a bit of stuff in Scotland, but a chance to come back into Britain and especially England, especially Nottingham, to actually have that opportunity. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it would be great to see you again, Darryl. Thank you.